This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back, everyone. We are going to talk about, I'm going to say the F word. Here it comes, and it's positive. Future. What does the future hold for you? How do you figure that out? How do we look at that through the eyes of energy? What can we do to make our hopes, our dreams, our passions come true? We're going to talk about that today. And I'm going to say this right now very clearly. I've met a lot of people that do what she does in many different capacities. I've never met somebody with the passion, the intuition. She is plugged into what's going on now in real time, which also transcends to your future. She's been doing this globally for 33 years. 3 is a positive number. I just realized that. Internationally known intuitive spiritual healer, Reiki master, card reader, energy reader, so much more. And so great to have her back with us, Ruth Kramer. Back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about something that I'm really drawn to. I'm a visionary. And so my challenges have often been to be in the present and certainly not to get stuck in the past. I love hanging out in the future and helping create a future for others. You know, I know that there's the power of now and there's the present of now and everybody talks about now. But some of the clients I've had in the past when they're dealing with disease or escaping traumatic family backgrounds, they need a story to create ahead of them in order to move them out of challenges that they no longer wish to participate in. That's one reason to create a future. And if you're dealing with healing and you're visioning a healthy body or an abundant life, or we have to be the creators or the co-creators of our own existence. And the world is creating. It's a creative force of energy that's constantly breathing a new moment, a new day. We have to move towards being a co-creator of that. You know, future is always setting up and we have to keep setting up the future so as not to be a stagnant, dying part of the past.
So I'm right there with you. The power of now is beautiful, magical, wonderful. It was the game changer in my current journey about 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago. Somebody came up to me. I met them. And yeah, just a new person in my life. And they actually said to me, why don't you ever live in the present? And I said, I really don't know what you mean. You live in the past, you live in the future. Why not now? How to think about it, how to figure it out. Once I did, and I still sometimes don't live in the present. You know, sometimes, foot's in the, not so much the past, more the future. But I know it's important. But in what you're describing, it almost sounds as if when you're on a journey that you somewhat need to know where you're going to go. Like you get in your car, you don't usually, you know where you're going. You don't just get in the car and just endlessly drive, although that's fun too. It can be done. But you have to have a little bit of an inkling of a destination. Is that a healthy thing?
Absolutely. So I feel that now is the best now is all about being able to see where now is wanting to take you, a goal setting, a desire, a dream, a vision, a picturing, dreaming and scheming and planning and strategizing are part of life. I mean, we book holidays. Some people spend years planning one wedding day, and yet we don't plan out our lives. Or we don't plan our goals. And a lot of people haven't set ideals. They're living in reality. They might not like the reality. If you want to change the reality, you have to create an ideal that you then start marching towards, because the future's coming anyway. Future's going to show up anyway, whether we're in it or not. So if we're living in the past, we're not going to make it to the future. And if we're too steeped in the present, and we don't have a carved out vision of the future, then we're not letting the universe, if you like, know what our desires and dreams are. So if we don't have an imagination that can allow ourselves to run a bit wild, We're not carving out a big picture scenario for the universe to find its way to meet us. Without an ideal, we're only dealing with reality, and reality has already been created. So we're living in a reality that we're living in history in a way, because the moment before right now has already gone, it's already passed, it's already done. So by living in history, by living in the reality that's already been created and not being a creator of our own future, we're actually preventing the source of our own imagination and our own ideals to take form, to find their way, to breathe.
Do you feel that even this moment, right here, this one right now, right there, boing, this one right here, it was already planned.
Right.
It just didn't. Well, we just figured we get together. Everything about now, potentially everything we're going to talk about now, in some way, came from the past. It was already manifested, if you will, planned universally, if you will. Are there any new moments in our lives, or it's already been planned out? How it was planned, we can talk about that, but do you know where I'm going with that? There's no
Yeah.
like just spontaneous. I'm going to go do this right now. In a way, it was already planned.
Well, yes, to some degree, there's so think of it like this, think of a pathway that was already forged. However, there's meanderings off the pathway where you can go off and have a wild moment and a little bit of adventure and a bit of spontaneous experiences and come back to the pathway. To some degree, I feel, based on my 33 years of experience with guides and guidance, there's some part of our pathway that's already forged. However, there's massive imagination and there's free will. So there's lots of times where people have come to me and said, can you make him love me? Can you make her behave better? Can you get my child to marry the right dude, or get my son to get into business with his dad? And the answer is hopefully not. I don't I don't want to, because I really love the free will of the cliffhanger of the next page, of turning over the next page and getting kind of excited about it, that we don't entirely know where the stones of destiny are going to fall, because there's not only is there free will, but there's this co-creative substance where even the beings of great light and great masters are not entirely certain of their pathway, because it's still unfolding, it's still got a creative force to it. And we want that creative imagination. We want someone to suddenly get downloaded with a massive invention, and suddenly our cars become flying cars or amphibious cars, that trains get faster, that man gets faster, that they break a record in the Olympics all the time. And you're like, how can we get any faster? I can't believe that those legs could carry you further, or that you could jump that much higher, or dive that much further. We're constantly breaking our own barriers, and we have to, because it's our human design.
I have a much clearer picture now. I see that where the future, even this moment, it's already been planned to an extent. The path was already carved. Let's say you got a snowstorm and you made a path in the snow. You can get, but as you walk along, you might find a leaf. Wow, where'd this leaf come from? I can't believe it snowed. I see a leaf right here, or this over here, or that over there along the way. But for the most part, our direction has already been determined, if you will. Would that be somewhat accurate?
Yes. Well, so imagine that there's this big bucket of consciousness that we're in. We bring our bucket with us with a certain degree of consciousness. And in that bucket are the experiences that we have got to have, that some parts of our path, we have to marry that person because we made a contract and agreement with them. We have
Okay,
to.
wait, I want to interject here real quick. When you say a contract and agreement with them, do you mean in this lifetime?
Um, we just generally,
Okay.
and how it plays out in this lifetime could be that someone gets married a lot later, or they get married too young and end up in divorce, or there are certain contractual agreements that are all massively beautifully planned from us. We are part of the planners, we're the architects. Somewhere in the blueprint of our lifetime of design, we've created blueprints of our experiences that we have to somewhere find the grace to be thankful for and not to be pissed off about.
Mm.
Because we can spend our life bemoaning where we've been, or we can discover for ourselves why we went there in the first place. And so we bring the gift with us by discovering why did I go there? What came out of it? And sometimes what comes out of a hard situation is compassion, is more self-love, is more understanding of humanity, is more empathy with our fellow man, is a depth. I mean, would you want to be in a car with superficial people that had only good in their life, or would you rather ride in a car where people have fantastic stories, extraordinary experiences, and a depth of care and compassion and love that they've learnt through some of the page turners and cliffhangers that they've experienced in their lives? I know which car I'd rather be in.
100%. I would
Yeah.
only wish that those people that had those experiences in the cars that we want to be in talk about the opportunity, the positivity, and the lessons, and don't dwell on the, oh, look what just happened. I get it. I'm not minimizing anything,
Yeah.
but there's always ways to look at things. And it'd be nice to be with people that look at it that way. And I 100% I agree with you. The stuff we've been through, there's beauty. I'm trying to think of your greatest challenges lead to your greatest gifts.
Yes. And you have to see it that
You
way.
have to see it that way.
And the stagnancy that leads to illness and death for people, because we're built to last a lot longer than the years that we're currently lasting. And one of the reasons is that stagnation, illness, and death are parts of the stories and the bemoaning qualities of humanity that we've been stuck in. And the grid system, if you like, or the matrix system that we've walked has not helped that story, because there are beings who understand how energy works that have enjoyed keeping the lid on some of these beautiful beings of light that haven't found their wings, and instead there's been a sort of an imprisonment in this planet that is going to change. It's changing now. So we're in massively awakening times, where our part in creating the future is about holding a positive light of desire to choose our experiences and our view of those experiences, because our viewpoint of those experiences is like saying, oh God, I'm awake, or oh God, I'm awake. And so the only difference between that sentence is our attitude towards it. And that's the same of life. Our perception of everything we've experienced is determined by our perception and our attitude towards it, our emotionality towards it. And we can change that in any moment by deciding how we feel about that. And deciding how we feel about that is a conscious choice that we need to take responsibility for.
In this time now in our lives, energetically, call it astrologically. I know we had a brief conversation before we got on here today about what's going on and the awareness, the consciousness. Do you feel, Ruth, that this is one of the best times in your memory to look toward the future? In some regards, don't get fixated on it, like we talk about. Stay
Yeah.
stay in the present, but kind of have an eye like where you want to go. But the clarity that's in this time right now, do you feel it's like the highest, the height in a long time, or maybe all time?
All time.
Wow.
So I'm going to admit something. I, as a knowing being, as a starseed of light, have deliberately come for the times we're about to step into.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
I have intentionally shown up in this life. As a child, I was quite awake. I had flying dreams and couldn't understand why I couldn't fly my bed to school. I didn't get why I wasn't capable. Like, it felt like I had failed because I couldn't do the things that I could vision that were possible. And I was always the good one. I was always looking at how other people were out of integrity, including siblings and so on. And I never understood the cruelty that mankind steeped upon one another, the unkindnesses. I never got it. I'd always sit there going, scratch my head, I don't get it. Why can't we be nicer? Why can't we be kinder? Why aren't we listening? What makes us think that we can treat each other like that and get away with it? The world we're stepping into now, and I mean now, is that world. It's the utopia that's forming right now, where literally the earth, which is a living, breathing habitat for us, a living, breathing form of life that we're standing on, where the trees breathe in and out, where they have words to say to us, where the stones that are ancient have got wisdom. There's energy in everything. There's energy in absolutely everything, including us. And we're tuned out because we were taught to be. We're not as tuned in as we can be. All of us are incredibly psychic and gifted, telepathic. We should be able to speak to each other without language barriers all over the world with telepathy, because it breaks through. If you're thinking what the other person's thinking, it breaks through languages of foreign countries, because there is no foreign, it's all a connected aspect of us. That's where we're going. We're moving towards a place where our gifts will become apparent. And there are worlds we can't even see yet because our consciousness hasn't reached that point. But that's where we're going. Mother Earth is lifting and taking anybody who wants to lift and raise their vibration and frequency with her. We're going there anyway, and we're going there now.
It came clear for me in the last few weeks when you talk about Mother Earth, nature, and how we all say, or it has been said for many, many hundreds of years, that we need to be in nature. Getting back to nature. Why? To get grounded, to feel better. I feel it calling to me. Like I have to be in my kayak by Wednesday, or I'm gonna lose my mind. I'm not even kidding you. It's screaming at me, and I will make it happen because I need it. Why? What's the deal with nature? Somebody said this, and I realized it. Because we are nature.
Yes.
Never even thought that. We come from nature. Like we look at it two different things. Like I'm a human, I'm going to go in the woods. No, you're one. And I didn't realize that until recently. We're water, 98%, close to whatever it is. That's connected to nature. All of this. Now I see why it's so important, right?
Well, yes, without nature, we're not breathing, and we're probably not alive. So not only do the trees give us oxygen, the actual oxygen from all of our oceans, and the whole world is surrounded by water. Most of our oxygen and supply comes from the reefs and the water. And that's why it's so important that we bring nature back to its fullest element. And it's really easy to bring it back. With what we've destroyed, we can reclaim and regain. I remember two scientists went out, I don't know if there was two, there's probably more than that, with big trucks full of orange peels and orange waste. And they dumped it with great big dump trucks in a place where fires had burnt the trees and the forestry to the ground. And they just dumped it all out there. And the trees and everything all came back within a really short period of time, because the peels and the oranges were actually life force energy, and that lovely citrus brought everything back to life.
Wow.
We like that too. We need the life force energy of natural circumstances, and not these buildings and square boxes that we've created that actually denature us.
Talking about future today, what should we be doing at this point in time? How should we be looking toward the future? How should we be, if you will, plan or start to plan our future?
Well, if I had children that were coming out of high school, I'd be teaching them how to fly small craft and not just drive cars. I'd be teaching them how to be their own mechanics and their own foragers. I'd be wanting the young people to learn how to develop from farm to table aspects of growing food and growing natural circumstances. I would be helping them to help us to create natural water elements and be able to desalinize the water that surrounds our planet, so that nobody should go hungry and nobody should go without water. I would be helping everybody to close the gap between the elitists that have ruled for far too long and all the other people that are, struggling. There shouldn't be such a massive gap and between elements and between worlds. I'd be reminding each other that we're here to help one another, that we're here to discover more, to co-create, to turn a page, to move past the cliffhangers. I would get people to be looking for different fuel sources and natural resources. So we shouldn't be paying electric bills. We already should not be forged down and imprisoned by ridiculous low density slavery to our bills and our food sources and all of that. It should be natural forms of doing everything. There should be community gardens everywhere. Every school should be growing food. Literally, and helping to teach our young people the connection from farm to table. It should be happening everywhere in every walk of life, period. Those are the things that we need to start creating, and all of us can do that at a grassroots level, on local levels and future levels, so that we help the next generation to create a better future. And a better future is not a bigger house, a faster car, more boats, more material things. A better future is making sure that everybody can eat and everybody can drink clean water, and that there's a much kinder, more connected, interplanetary method of touching base with one another. This is really important, and it can happen right now. This is not about creating a future that happens in 10 years. This is about helping schools and children and the world come together now, so that there are more community gardens, more everything to help people live better.
You're such an amazing visionary, and I'm hearing it and seeing it. I really mean that. Isn't it interesting, Ruth? Isn't it interesting that here we are, 2025, ChatGPT just rolled out, version 5, and we can do this and we do all of that. Our food supply is tainted.
Mm.
There's microplastics in everything we eat. It's rampant in our bodies. We don't even realize it. All scientifically proven. I'm not just making that up.
Yeah.
And like they might have been saying 100 years ago, 200, 300 years ago, we need a garden. Now more than ever, we need a garden. Who would have ever thought at this point in time? That is truly one of the most important things.
Mm.
We need a garden. It's amazing.
We need a garden everywhere. Every home should have its own garden, and every community plot of land should have communal gardens that everybody works towards. We've become very insular, very selfish. I don't think COVID helped that. It caused degrees of separation, and that's a whole other story that I could definitely climb into another time. I feel that we have to come back. We have to come back to unity. And it's so important that we do that. And we can do it right now by everybody. I mean, everybody participating in their own way.
I want to slap myself on the back of the head. Where back in the day, people were saying this kind of stuff. And, I, like others, looked at them as tree huggers and, hippies and whatever. I'm going to tell you right now, probably in the next hour and a half, I'll have an opening. You think I'm kidding, Ruth? I'm going to walk outside and do what I do that time basically every day. I go into a tree. I take 10 minutes, touch a tree, hug a tree if you want. It's so important. I didn't realize it. I hope others realize it, maybe by us talking about it, the importance of being grounded, nature, and all of this. It's so important. And fortunately, we have the consciousness. I think more and more collectively are starting to realize there's more important things out there than that big house and having the boat. Yeah, that's great. That's all great. That's not going to keep you alive.
Right.
That's not going to keep you alive. That's not even going to keep you sane. That's going to be something for your ego to maybe camouflage what's really going on. How do we find you for more insight, more connection, maybe guidance in all of this? You do so much in so many different modalities. How do we find you?
So email is one of the best ways, because somebody can write me a note, and people do that all the time and say, this is what's going on. my house is haunted, or my husband's troubled, or I've got physical stuff going on from things that are going out in my slightly toxic world, email Ruth at theholisticsoulhealer.com. My website is theholisticsoulhealer.com, and you can go and see my offerings and feel safe, because we have a lot of reason not to trust each other in our world. And we need to move that into more trust and more love and more connection. It's really important now.
My mantra, and this is in my recent 5-year journey, this is what I pilot by. Love everyone, trust few. Wish I didn't have to say that. Just seems to be my experience because I trust everybody, and I learned a couple of things. And do the right thing for all. We can always say, well, I did the right thing. Yeah, to benefit you, but for all. The greater good, if you will. I'm living by that one. I try to push holes in it, punch holes in it to see, does it still fit? It still fits in my world. But fortunately, you're one of those people where we can trust you. You have such beautiful insight and intuition, and I truly appreciate it, Ruth. Thanks for being here. Universe will put us together again sometime soon. I know it.
Yes, I'm ready and looking for more sponsorship and more opportunities to come and do this, because I feel that we deserve to be reached. And I have a huge desire to reach my fellow human, because I really love the potential in all of us. I love our potential.
There's a reason you've been doing this for 33 years and will continue, because you have such passion, you are grounded, and such understanding of energy, and just want the best for all. Thank you, really, from my heart. I appreciate it.
Yes, well, I appreciate you. You're extraordinary. We need more voices like yours, Steve, because you're constantly waking up, and your willingness is profound. And curiosity and willingness are two words that allow us to fill with wonder and live a much better life. We could all do with being more curious and more on purpose by being filled with wonder and curiosity and asking all the right questions. It's lovely.
Thank you. And you know what it is? I'm a kid. I'm still a kid. What are kids? Curious. It's really what it is. Yeah. All right. We'll talk soon. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.